And we need to give this a bit of context, Del, because one thing that people who've come to the sport a bit later might not realise is just how big a deal Total Carp was. Like, if you were in that mag, you were in the biggest outlet for carp fishing going.
Yeah,
and you were probably
25,000 a month.
And you were like one of a real central group of anglers that they chose to use all the time.
Yeah. All I wanted to do was entertain people. Why did I do it? Because I thought fishing was boring.
Okay, it must have taken some bollocks to turn up on Conningbrook and start pumping the tunes out.
Oh yeah. Do you know the funniest bit was getting up on a Monday morning to go to work, and it was going fishing.
And at that time, there can't have been many of you making a living in that way.
Oh no.
Talk to me a bit about perhaps this idea that in later years you wouldn't have been taken seriously as a big carp man despite all the stuff that you'd done in the past.
I just love mucking about. Always have and always will.
Del, thank you very much for inviting us to your bivvy.
It's a tea party.
A tea party. Well, there's no tea yet.
Yeah,
so
but we're going to have it in a minute.
That's
got
a bit
to get the work done.
Bit of a strange one for me, because how the tables have turned. I don't know if you remember, but for my first ever job in this industry, I had to ring and interview you over the phone, thanks to the masochistic tendencies of Jim Foster. Yeah, and it led you to christen me the Punisher. Thank you for that. And now I'm interviewing you again.
Yes.
And it's like quite a few years later. But how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good. The last year or so, I wasn't too good. I put on too much weight. I was told by the doctor that I had narrowing in my arteries where I used to smoke, and that's not a good thing to do, is it? I've been told I've got diabetes, so I've had to lose weight, and as you can see, I've lost a couple of stone.
Have you done it?
Thanks to my lovely wife, Beverly.
She's been starving you?
No, she's just been giving me the right food. Instead of eating burgers and chips and everything else, I eat properly.
Wieners?
I've got my dinners. She's already made them.
I suppose that's a nice little segue into your relationship with our Elliot here behind the cameras.
Wiener Boy.
Tell us about it.
Wiener Boy, right. I've got to tell you about Wiener Boy. I think I first met Wiener Boy at, was it Brentwood Angling? Or was it on a fishing trip? Ah, yes, the fishing trip. Elliot's first 30-pounder, right? He'd booked a tutorial and we was down at Averley, and I had it rocking over there. I had a father and son, and they were there for about 4 days, and they had over 100 takes. And it was like, I was phoning up Kevin Knight, the shandy man, every 10 minutes. Can I need more bait? And this guy's little lad, right? Well, he weren't a little lad. Everyone's big compared to me, but his little lad got on the throwing stick, and we'd primed it up. I'd been doing tutorials for like 2 weeks, and then the Wiener Boy turns up, right, with his dad. And of course he's all keen, and he's like, "Way, come on!" And he's like, at the time, I used to like a little bit of the old wacky wacky, and of course he's sitting there, and my rods are all set, because didn't you come down and Wiener Boy said to me, "Why haven't you put your rods out?" And I said, "I'm not putting them out, because I want you to catch him," and him and his dad, and they were in the 2 swims next door to me. And in the end, I put my rods out, and I said to you, "Come on, have that." And he went, no, it's your rod. And then I made him have it, and he picked the rod up, played the fishing and everything else. And then I had another take, and I hadn't put the rod in there while the others was there. I just looked after them. And of course, You know, the rest is like history. We went to sleep and like, because I'd been doing tutorials one after the other, I was like, proper bombed out. I was like in the corner, and I wanted to go to sleep. But Wiener Boy wanted to keep talking to me. And we sat there, well, what was it, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And I said to him, you'll be all right in the morning. Anyway, first thing in the morning, Elliot comes down to me and he goes, my dad's got a fish. All right, I said, it's a good one. And I went, yeah. So I got up and I was like, a bit like that. Walked down there, and his dad was a little bit upset because he wanted Elliot to catch it, and the idea was for Elliot to come and catch a nice big fish. And at the time, it was definitely rocking over Averley. Anyway, I said to his dad, don't worry about it. I said, look, it's the happy hour. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. We're going to get some more takes. He'll be all right. And anyway, about an hour later, off it goes. And there you go. Wiener Boy's got his first 30. That was fucker. That was really top.
And you still haven't told us why it's called Wiener Boy.
Well, it's called the Wiener Boy because every time, well, I saw him afterwards over at Cleveley. I see him on the mere and I see him on the top lake, and it was just strange. He's got a radar for wieners, you know, the sausages in the tins, because what I used to do was I'd be sitting there cooking them and everything, and he just used to turn up out of the blue for his hit on the wieners. He was addicted to them wieners because he was half starved on the bank because he weren't worried about food. He was just trying to catch carp all the time. You'd find him in the corner somewhere, like stuck in a tiny little corner where you can only just get a rod in, and he'd be sitting in the corner trying to catch them fish as they're coming past him. And of course, he couldn't be bothered with food. And with them tins of wieners, you get half dozen, 8 in a pot, which you're going to find out a bit later, because we've got the wieners. We have wieners, Houston. We have your wieners. And of course, he used to come down just as I was serving him up and start eating the wieners. Then he'd trot off and hide in the corner again somewhere. Yeah.
Now I want to backtrack a little bit. This isn't going to be a super retrospective one because I've got a few ideas about where we want to go, Del. But it feels a lot like you've been one of the most laid back anglers on the scene ever since, you know, I've known about it. Was that always the case? Were you always so easygoing with your fishing?
Yeah. In times. You know that I was with Total Carp, right? And I had Jungle Jim come up to me and say to me, we're going to do a thing with the magazine and we want you on board. And that was Catchmore Carp, wasn't it? That was.
How did he know you? Manor?
No, because it was before the Manor. I got him on the Manor afterwards.
So how did he know you as a character? Because Jim's a big fan of characters, right?
Oh, I know. He's I've had some run-ins with him. He always wants to muck about, doesn't he? Always wants to muck about. We did a thing with Dean Macy. And what happened? He kept on, and what he did, right? He got some mixers and he emptied the box in my bed, right? And he knew how to wind me up, right? And you say laid back, I wasn't laid back then. I picked a catapult up, right, filled it with boilies and fired it straight at his crutch, and he bruised up all in the inside his head. And I said to him, for Christ's sake, Jim, grow up, right? And of course.
He didn't?
No, he didn't. And what happened, he started with the water pistol, right? And what happens? He goes to fill this water pump thing up, and as he does, one of the boys at the lake pushes him in. And of course Jim goes, well, what did you do that for? And you know what Jim's like. Anyway, I don't know. He got in touch with me because I was with Shimano then. He approached me and said, would you come and do some features with us? And it just went from there. And, you know, I've got to say, in the beginning, I was a little bit, how can I put it? I was a little bit, sort of grieved a little bit, because every time I went to do a feature with a magazine, it meant that I couldn't fish the manor. And at first, I didn't like it, to be honest, because obviously I wanted to catch all the fish out of the manor, which eventually I did. But after 2 or 3 months of doing it, my attitude changed totally, and I really embraced the going out doing features, because the thing which is so poignant about it is I never know where I'm going, and I'd get a phone call from yourself, from Johnny Bones or Mark Coulson, and they go, right, this week you're going to so and so, and I go, oh, what's that? And he go, yeah, and you're going to be doing something on this, and this. And when you go there and you meet the people, and they're so pleased to meet you, you know what I mean? It's quite a nice feeling.
And we need to give this a bit of context, Del, because one thing that people who've come to the sport a bit later might not realise is just how big a deal Total Carp was. Like, if you were in that mag, you were in the biggest outlet for carp fishing going.
Yeah, 25,000 a month. Right?
And you were like one of a real central group of anglers that they chose to use all the time.
Yeah. And it was, but we done all different things, didn't we? You know.
And it actually led to you being probably, I would say, like, off the top of my head, like certainly in the top 5 most recognised anglers in the country. Yeah. Which presumably, when you were debating whether to do it or not, you can't have had any idea that's where it was going to go.
No. And what I had so many wonderful times and memories doing it, especially with the people that you're doing it with. You know what I mean? Johnny Bones, the most laid back. You know what I mean? A lot of the time, we tried to get it done as quickly as possible. Because time is money. And one of the worst bits was when we first started, it wasn't digital. And so you never knew what you was going to get at the end.
I guess that's the fact that it was always right, or near enough, is testament to those boys like Jim, very talented guy.
Oh yeah.
And probably it was Jim's vision that created that character that perhaps you became.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, he just loved it because he could get me to do crazy things, and the crazier the better for him.
Well, didn't it get them sued at one point?
Well, on the verge, poor old David. Yeah, you know what I mean? There was the thing with the sperm and the young lady, but yeah, she was lovely. Mind you, I'll tell you what, some of the ladies that we took out were very, very, very good, you know, like, and a lot of people used to say, you know, you're such a lucky guy to be taking these, because I took out the ballet dancer, didn't I? And all the shows that I did, and everyone knew how crazy I was with some of the shows that I put on, you know. It's probably before your time.
I was running around with an alien mask on your head.
Yeah,
like doing
you know. Yeah, all I wanted to do was entertain people.
We're going to come back to that. What I wanted to explore first, though, Del, is how you came to be, like, from Brentwood Angling to being the Don. Like I want to explore whether the Don is you, or whether that's like a character that you assumed when you became like one of the faces of Total Carp.